So hi guys, welcome to this live Facebook webinar session for YES Class of 2017. Good morning, my name is Gavin Miller. You might recognise me from the webinar session we did last week. I'm the Wellington Regional Coordinator for the Lion Foundation Young Enterprise Scheme. So welcome along this morning. We've got a great panel of guests for you this morning to talk about digital media, the use of digital media in your business, and how to promote your business using these platforms. We are broadcasting live this morning from Welltech here in Petone in Lower Hutt. And without further ado, we'll introduce our panel this morning. So this morning we've got Dr. Fahimi Ali with us. Hi. We've got Conrad Spoor.
Hi there.
And we've got Thelma Moses, Dr. Thelma Moses with us this morning as well.
Hi,
good morning, guys. Hey guys, as always with these sessions, we love you guys to ask questions. If you are going to ask any questions, then please do. I can see those questions live up on the screen and we'll attempt to answer those throughout the course of the session this morning. We are going to go through a number of topics for you quickly in the next 30 minutes or so, and hopefully you can pick up some really good tips and tricks for your businesses throughout this session. Be sure to tag in your friends as well and get your teammates to have a look at this later on as well, because we'll put this back up on Facebook for you guys to watch later in the day. Without further ado, we want to introduce the topics today, and they are essentially the use of digital media, attracting your target market, engaging your audience, and the retention of your customer base. We want to talk about how the role of digital media and what that plays, how to utilize these platforms to your advantage, and what pitfalls to avoid as well. So with that, we'll crack into the attraction side of things, where we'll get Dr. Fahimi Ali to kick us off.
Right. Hey guys, I'll be talking a bit on the statistic, on the numbers part. But to start off, let me just say what is digital technologies. The definition of digital technologies, they are electronic tools, system, devices, and resources that generate, store, or process data. So what does it mean? What does the things included in the digital technologies? So it can be social media, online games, an application, multimedia, productivity application, cloud computing, interoperable systems, and also mobile device. So those are the things that actually include in the digital technologies. So now let's look at globally what we have in numbers. So according to Hootsuite, the internet users around the world now is of 50% penetration. Means half of the world population is now on internet. And the active mobile social users are 34% of the world population. So it means that 1 out of 3 people having mobile social account. Now let's look on the social media penetration of the world. Now, obviously, the highest penetration in the world is North America, which has 66%. So 6 out of 10 people over there has social media. And let's look. The second one is South America with 59%. And for us here in New Zealand, we do have 52% penetration. All right. So means every 2 people, 1 of them have a social media account. Now let's go deeper into that details. Now, 91% of New Zealanders are active internet users, where 70% of them spend 2 hours, at least 2 hours or more per day online. 85% visits social network. Now let's break it into ethnicity. Now, ethnically, the Asians and the Pakeha, or New Zealand European internet users, are more highly engaged in a range of activities such as buying things online. Right? The Pacifica people, however, are more likely to look at religious sites, and also the Maori lead the way in subscribing to online music services. So that will be a breakdown for us in New Zealand. Now, how about the social media usage in New Zealand? Now, 97%, almost all internet users now research online before purchasing any product online. Okay, so almost all. 28% bought products as a result of reviews they read on the web. And more importantly, 34% changed their mind about a product as a result of what they read. So what does that mean? That means people trust social media content more than website content. So see,
that's interesting.
Very interesting.
Very interesting. Yeah.
Very interesting. Yeah, and then despite that, the social media advertisement, they spend with they forecast to increase 25% this year in 2017, and last year was we see the decreasing in advertising spend. I mean, in TV advertising spend. So people are spending more on social media rather than TV advertisement. Yeah. In addition to that, 75% New Zealand businesses actively use social media, specifically Facebook, as compared to other social media platforms. Right, now, let's look into Facebook. Now, it is Facebook says, I got it from staff, 2.9 million Kiwis have an active account with Facebook. That's a lot. That's
2.9 million.
Yeah, that's 61%.
Yeah.
And 2.3 millions access their Facebook every day. So more than half access their Facebook in New Zealand every day. So that's how is it. I mean, as compared, we have 61% as compared to if we compare globally, Taiwan has one of the largest, which is highest, which is 77% of their population is an active Facebook users. Right. Now, to the final part of it. Now, Kiwis log in average of 14 times a day.
Wow.
Surprisingly.
Yeah.
Okay, if you compare that globally, in a worldwide perspective, people spend 50 minutes a day on Facebook. So, but yeah, that will be a lot of minutes a day. You're on Facebook. So yeah, that's part of the world that we are living now.
Yeah.
Right? So yeah, that's for me.
Okay, so they're interesting stats because it kind of sets the scene, doesn't it, Fahimi, in terms of where students and where businesses might want to spend their marketing dollar, in terms of how to attract and understanding those tendencies of their target audience, right? And,
yes.
and picking the channels that are suitable for their business, rather than maybe just thinking, well, let's start up a Facebook page, promote our product on our page, and all of a sudden they think they're getting traction, whereas they're not, right? Because they have to be very specific.
Definitely. By knowing these numbers, they have to do their homework. I mean, they have to study about the market target, which both of them will talk about it. Yeah. At least the numbers are there, so we have an idea where to tackle and what to do.
Yeah, sure. Well, thank you, Fahimi. That's some fantastic data to think about when you're starting your business, which kind of brings us into I guess one of the big strengths of social media is the ability to really specifically engage the audience that you want to engage, which is in previous decades hasn't been possible, right? So let's talk a little bit about engagement and talking about your customer. Conrad, let's hand it over to you.
Yeah, thank you very much, everybody. So yes, we've got all these users on Facebook, but how do you actually get to these people is the big question. Everybody can throw their Facebook site out there and hope that it spreads like wildfire, but unfortunately, there are so many other businesses trying to do the same thing. So what is being said at the moment about engaging in social media is a very big thing, is getting into social listening. So getting the keywords that describe your product and getting the description of your product and finding the demographic of the people that are going to be your target market, and seeing what is being said on other blog sites, seeing what is being said on other websites about that. They say that a large portion of what is being said about your product is not usually on your own site. It is also being said on other people's sites. So very important for you is to identify these blog sites that are talking about that, because these people that are creating the buzz and the talk about a product are not usually directly linked to your product. So it is very important then to focus on finding some tools. There are some free tools available that can help you to get the traffic. There is something called Social Mention, which is for free, and there's a package that's quite comprehensive called Keyhole. So these things are basically like spy robots, and they spy all the words and everything that is being said. They also can be programmed to specifically target your product name, and what is being said can then be filtered through to you in a report that you can then actively use to create a better buzz about your product or answer questions that people have about that. Always remember that you can use this information that you're getting about what people are saying to evaluate and then create your strategy of what you want to have said about your product. Also very important when you're looking at these sites is then to try and create and understand the language that people are using to talk about your product. If you have your demographic, you're targeting people between the ages of 40 and 60. They use completely different language to the people that are between, say, the ages of 15 and 25. And targeting your language and what you are writing about towards them. Something that has been said about this specifically is about creating the persona of the person that you want to have buy your product. So creating this avatar of who am I looking at? They say looking at a person, you're looking at their age, their occupation, incomes, their interests, the pains, the problems, the obstacles that face them every day. What are their habits? What do they like? What are their dislikes? What are their motivations?
That's become really big,
Yeah.
and because once you've created that persona, right, you can actually then specifically almost target those people to the exact detail. Right?
Correct. So if you've got this basic avatar persona, then you will know how to approach this person. Next thing I would like to look at a couple of things that they say about digital marketing strategies. So the first thing that I have spoken about is the listening. So they talk about social listening. Next thing that's very important when you're engaging your people is interactive content. A lot of people want to just get the clicks on their site, but it's not actually just about getting the click. It's actually about getting the people to go in and enjoy your site. They have to see there. You can have quizzes in and around your product. You can have things that you can say about why is it a benefit. You're trying to not just sell the product, you're also trying to sell the benefits of your product. So it's not just about getting them there, it's about keeping them there and keeping them entertained. You also don't need to just focus on one or two programs. We've got things coming and going all the time. So we've got the three stalwarts, we've got Facebook, we've got Twitter, and we've got LinkedIn. But there are a lot of things that come and go and come and go. And one of them, for example, like Snapchat is really getting big at the moment, and Instagram, and using some of these platforms to try and get the people engaged, like Facebook, like Instagram stories that you can use, and the articles on Facebook that you can also use these days. Also try and create a real people content. So in previous times, we used to create marketing generically for everybody, whereas now we want to try, and especially with social media marketing and with digital marketing, look at exactly who that person is that we want to target for the future. Something that is quite interesting, which is, thank you very much, Salma brought to light for me last week, is the reuse of old content, which has not been really considered by many people. And according to the article, you said only 29% of people reuse content. So they post something on one day, and it's forgotten. They get the traffic from that. But if you're creating traffic from that, try and post it on different days. Try and post it at different times, because different people are online at different times, and because of the advertising you're paying for, it prioritizes about what's going in the front. So if it's going on a different time and a different day, different people will see it, and you can create the extra traffic that you need. All right.
That's really good. That's really well, one of the things about social media platforms is that people kind of get into habits in the way they use them too. So would it be a good idea to really push the envelope in terms of how you might use these platforms at times? You know, you talk about the new platforms, like you've got Instagram and say Snapchat, which is growing at a big rate right now. So using, like, making creative ways or coming up with new inventive ways of using these platforms is something that they should be looking at as well?
Yeah, so it's not just about having your content there, but it's actually getting them there and doing something, engaging them to start thinking about the benefits that they get from your product, or what they can gain from using your product or service.
Yeah, that's really good. That's really good. Awesome. Well, thank you very much, Conrad, for that.
My pleasure.
Really good overview.
Yeah.
So now we come to the third part of the session that we're going to talk about, and that's retention, which is kind of a great one, right? So you've set your target market, you understand who your target market is, you engage with them regularly, hopefully, using all these platforms that are available to you today. But the key is to retain, because that's often where you get repeat sales, you create raving fan base. And that you can really grow your business from the art of retention, and it is a bit of an art form as well. So we're going to hand over to Thelma to take us through that session. Thanks, Thelma.
Thank you. My colleagues really highlighted very important aspects of social media and how to retain and engage customers all through. But when we talk about things in social media, we always separate things like, oh, we need to retain, we need to engage, and we need to kind of attract. For me, as I read through many of the articles and when I look into the practical examples, most companies, they don't consider these three as separate aspects. So it's all interlinked. Even when you're engaging your customer, you need to think about retaining them. Even when you're attracting your customer, you need to think about engaging them. So it's kind of the more you look into social media, the more it's all about customer engagement.
Creating the virtuous circle.
Right, creating a virtual circle and building relationships. So, you know, it's very easy to say, hey, you need to convert leads into prospects and customer retention strategies. You know, just like Gavin said a couple of minutes ago, he said that it all depends on the businesses you're looking into. So we need to structure your social media strategies based on your type of business, the product or the service you offer in the market space. That's very true. And retention is becoming very difficult because having or maintaining a loyal customer base is very, very difficult these days, because customers are knowledgeable. They know everything. Even before they come into your website, they have more than 75% of the data in their fingertips. So they want to know something more, which they don't know, which your website or your page is going to offer them. So, you know, continuous technology updates. Customers are looking for new information, new added value. And the most important thing these days is that customer wants more value for money. Everybody is becoming picky. The choices are numerous for them. So it's kind of, they want more added value. So the first important thing which I would like to stress here as far as retention is concerned is to set your objectives straight. You must know the purpose of why you are there on the web page, or why you are leading your customers or attracting your customers into your Facebook page. So your objective could be anything. Maybe you would want to create a brand image, or you just want to increase the number of clicks on your web page, or you just want to have people go through your blog posts. So it's kind of, you need to be very clear on what your objectives are. It must be smart objectives. Be specific. Spend some time on creating your objectives, because once you have that strong foundation, all the other activities will be based on the foundation, and you will be able to see measurable results. That's very, very important. You need to have ROI for the time you spent, for the money you spent. It's all about return on investments.
Yes.
So the clearer the objectives are, the better will be the path you take in using all these social media strategies. So I have two major points here to present as far as social customer retention is concerned. Number one, know your customers. Number two, let them know you. These are the two things I want to highlight on. Know your customers. So the primary thing is to empathize with them. So your objective is to sell your products or services, but the customer's question is, what is in it for me? So always remember, it is going to be WIFM, what is in it for me, right? So the customer's question is always going to be, what is the value I'm going to get out of it? So put yourself in customers' shoes all the time. Put yourself in customers' shoes all the time. So think about, why do my customers care about what I'm saying? Why should they click? What is in it that adds value to them? Why is this important to my audience? What do my audience respond well to and engage with? So all these things we need to be very, very clear about. And as Conrad said, social listening is very, very important. It's not necessary that you have to post stuff all the time. be a listener as well. You know, when you start a new business out of excitement, we always end up posting loads of information on the internet. That's not necessary. We need to be kind of a doctor to listen to the heartbeat of the market. You know, it's kind of, you need to listen and talk about the trending topics to engage the customers. That's one way to increase customer engagement and retention. So talk about the latest trends, the trending topics, something that's of significant importance to your customers, something kind of corporate social responsibility, or, you know, any kind of environmental issues that have come up recently that has attracted people's attention. Read through the newspapers, pick up the hot topics, and just start a conversation.
They're really good points, actually, Thelma, because a lot of the young enterprise teams have some element of social enterprise behind that. So actually, you know, the points you make are very pertinent and very relevant to these teams.
Cool, that's cool. That's right. Okay, the next one will be to create a great content. You know, it has to be entertaining. Create anticipations. Make customers wait for your blogs. They have to just wait and see, oh, when this person is going to upload something. That's really interesting. I just want to share it with my friends. So create a kind of an anticipation. And honor loyal customers. That's very, very important. Give them some extra benefits, you know, some coupons or some kind of discounts. Make them feel special. That's very, very important. And make sure your customers are always heard. Always heard. So that means you engage in real time. Either it be praise or frustrations. Be ready to answer. Engage in real time. That's very, very important.
And digital platforms allow you to do that quickly and promptly these days, right?
Very true, very true. The other important thing many social media marketers forget is that to use emails. That's very important. I just want to say that emails are not dead. People still like to receive emails.
Yes.
Kind of, you know, like reiterate that you love them, that you care for them through emails. You know, maybe 1 or 2 in a month, just to say, hi, are you good? I'm good. That makes a huge difference. It builds trust, which is very, very important as well. And the second part, make yourself known. So how do you do that? Be easy to find. Use the same username for all the platforms. Be easy to find. And number 2, create a list of top ambassadors, influencers in your industry, in your product category or in your service category. Associate with them. Go to their blog spots. You know, make them recognize your name. You know, so that way, influencers marketing is becoming one of the hot topics these days. Yeah. If a famous musician is going to buy a product, I'm going to buy a product no matter what. You know, that's what is happening these days. So it's very good at this point of time to use influencers marketing. Associate yourself with the top people in your business or your industry. And then the other thing which came across in most of the articles or in the practical world is schedule some of your posts. People always like to be in schedules. Instead of sending random posts occasionally, you know, schedule some of the posts. That's very, very important. And the final aspect, do not forget to measure your progress.
Good point.
That's very, very, very important.
Analytics.
You could, yes, use all the free analytics websites that are available. Know where you're going. Yep. You know, every day, just find out. And, you know, twist your strategies, change your strategies accordingly. Conrad was talking about creating an avatar or a persona for your customers. Remember, customers don't remain the same. They change. Their tastes and preferences change. They might like your type of post one day. The next day, they might like something else. So, you know, kind of be sensitive to the market space and set objectives, measure whether you have reached your objectives. If there is deviation, believe me, there's always going to be deviations. So, you know, adapt to new technologies, adapt to new slangs, adapt to new methods of communicating, and then, you know, align yourself. That's very, very important in social media marketing.
Yeah, that's really good.
Yeah, that's what I'd like to say.
Thank you so much for that overview. And so, as you can see, the digital media world is a massively powerful tool for you all to. And it's at your fingertips, essentially, right? So the tendency is to really jump into digital media, social media platforms, websites, e-stores, all those types of things really quickly and easily, with the expectation that your product or service is going to attract customers automatically. Now, that's not always the case, is it? Now, one of the things we talked about before this session started amongst us all was the element of the need to be face-to-face. So the digital media world is not the be-all and end-all of marketing, right? So let's talk a little bit about pitfalls, and I'm not sure who wants to lead this off here, but sometimes products need to be right out in front of customers, right? So let's just touch base on that. Who wants to kick us off on that one?
Yeah, I can talk you through. So people these days want, you know, face-to-face interactions, certain products, especially the sensitive products.
Yep.
And these days, technology is being supportive in that aspect as well. You have Facebook Live.
Yes.
Right, so you have product demonstrations online. So you have YouTube videos. People, it is assumed that YouTube is going to be kind of a. Most of them say it's going to be going down, but on the other hand, it's like it's going to be more useful. Podcasts,
Yes.
you know, like YouTube videos, Facebook Live. So people see live demonstrations of the products. So if people see live demonstrations, I think statistics say most of them are prone to buying them. So technology is evolving in that aspect as well.
Yeah.
Right, that's one thing.
Yeah, I would like to add that now some of the tips that you can manage or you can add to that is when, because of the interaction, the lack of interaction between, the senses, you know, the smell.
So sensory products,
Sensory
like food,
product,
almost sometimes clothing products.
Yes.
There's a range of things that need that touch, smell, feel, pick it up, grab it, play with it type of thing. Right?
One of the things that the business owners can do with this is you have to put more description in it.
Yeah.
How does it smell? How does it touch? You know, how does it go within the in the environment? So by doing that, the customer will be engaged and they learn more about the product.
Yes.
So they can imagine themselves, okay, this is a woody smell or kind of a nice smell, whatever smell it is, and they can imagine that adds more benefit and with that it attracts the customer again.
Yes.
Go back to the attraction.
Yeah.
There's also those things that you just mentioned about the sensory things. A lot of the times it is about getting a market store, putting it out there, getting people to buy it, smell, feel it, touch it, look at it. If it's food, taste it. If it's a scented candle, sniff it, light it up.
Yeah.
Just because it's something that, unfortunately, for so far we can't get over social media or any kind of digital media. You can describe a woody smell, but you can't transmit a woody smell.
No.
And that's going to be something. You can't feel a nice cotton shirt or a nice new shirt or a nice new pair of socks. You can't really touch it. If you touch it and it's a really expensive material or really good quality material, that's the thing that you need to break over in certain instances, and you have to go the old way of walking from place to place and getting people to experience the product, not just in a virtual way.
Yeah, and that's a really good point. So I guess the key message, guys, is to not think of social media as your one and only, or digital media as your one and only way of promoting. It's one element. Now, you need to make sure that you have it in parallel so that you do go out and you do markets, or you go to a store and have your product that's available for your customers to pick up and try or taste or smell, and use those digital media platforms to run alongside and to capture those people. So you have you direct them towards your Facebook page, you direct them towards your Instagram and Twitter feed, and talk about the social media environment or the channels that you are using, so that they can walk away and know where to buy that from, right? So I guess it's a matter of making sure that you've got a really robust marketing plan when you're putting things out there, and a communications plan, and ensuring that you have multiple prongs to that approach, right?
Something that I also read recently is the influences that Thelma was talking about. A lot of people are going into that, sending people places with sending them a free sample and saying, please be honest about my product. And in that way trying to get that sensory message over to the customers.
Testimonials, you mean?
Get
a testimonial on social media.
Which comes back to those points about people trusting social media more than the websites, right?
Exactly.
So I guess, you know, it can be quite a minefield to transition through as a company, especially when you're starting out in terms of your communications and marketing, and when you're going to market. I guess one of the messages too, don't be afraid to try new things, and make sure that you be a little bit inventive, and make sure that you can get some of that cut through, because you can be rest assured that that every person, and you'll know this just purely in your own lives, that you get bombarded by advertising and marketing and coming up with interesting new ways of engaging. Don't be afraid to try them and see if they work. And that comes back to analytics too. You know if they're going to work, because you'll see the difference in the analytics out the other side. And talking about that return on investment, right? So guys, that pretty much covers it. I think we've just gone over 30 minutes, and so that's good. So we can wind this up unless anybody wants to have a last few words.
Yeah, no.
I think that's
Okay.
yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
So I'd like to thank Fahimi, Conrad, and Thelma for joining us today live from Welltech in Petone. We hope you enjoyed this session. If you've got any questions, please put them up later on as well, and we'll have a look back on this as well. This broadcast will be put back up on Facebook, up on the Yes class of 2017 a little bit later on, maybe in an hour or so. And we will post this to YouTube as well, so that it is available for you to have a look at. Which I'll post the link up in Facebook as well if you want to use it from YouTube. With that, we're going to leave it at that. Thank you very much, guys, for joining us today on this wonderful day in the capital. We hope you enjoyed the session, and we'll talk with you soon. Thanks very much, guys. Talk to you later. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.